Welcome back, Truth Seeker. April 2nd, 2020. Want to keep you up with the latest coronavirus propaganda. We're looking at CNN's front page live. Their top story, a coronavirus widow's warning, and an ER doctor dies in his husband's arms. What I want you to see is the ongoing, repetitive encoding of the exact same numbers that we've been talking about nonstop since January, when this all began. So we'll start with the top story, a coronavirus widow's warning. She lost her husband, Conrad Buchanan. And just to read a little bit of the story, Nicole Buchanan wasn't even allowed to say goodbye to her husband. 3 weeks ago, Conrad Buchanan was a healthy, vivacious Florida DJ who loved dancing with his daughter. But on March 14th, the 39-year-old started feeling sick. His wife, Nicole, tried to get him tested for coronavirus, but he was denied. We couldn't get him tested. I fought and fought and fought, she said. They didn't want to test him due to his age, and he had no underlying health issues. But by March 22nd, Conrad's condition had deteriorated so badly that Nicole drove him to the hospital. The young father was intubated immediately after he was dropped off. Nicole went to park the car. She never saw her husband again. So he died March 22nd, supposedly. But look at his name. Conrad Buchanan, 56, like coronavirus, like toilet paper, like mind control, like how we continue to decode the stories, and again it comes back to the same number. With regards to his death on March 22nd, a date written 22/3 in the majority of the world, novel coronavirus 223. March 22nd was the 82nd day of the year, COVID-19. The other name for coronavirus. Now, how about this story? An ER doctor dies in his husband's arms. Again, these are the stories from today. New Jersey emergency room doctor Frank Grabin knew he could contract coronavirus when he walked into work to treat patients. But still he continued, and about a week after contracting the virus, Grabin died in his husband's arms Tuesday. So that was April Fool's Day. Look at his name, Frank Grabin, 56, just like coronavirus. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, his name is 70, also like coronavirus. Another pattern we've seen. We've been talking about Kobe, his relation to this whole thing, buried in Corona del Mar, which equals 56 and 70 the same way. Chris Cuomo back in the headlines today. Chris Cuomo to Andrew Cuomo. My COVID-19 hallucinations included you in a tutu. And notice the Gematria tutu, 82 and 26 like COVID-19's 26 and 82 like virus's 26. This news comes April 2nd, 2020, a date with 46 numerology. Virus is also 46. And of course, the Cuomo brothers are 56 and 56. Chris Cuomo's 56 like coronavirus, and Andrew Cuomo's the 56th governor of New York. Again, this number everywhere. Here's another story. Coronavirus in Mumbai. 56-year-old dies in Darvi after testing positive for COVID-19. This was yesterday's news, April Fool's Day. 56-year-old again. They're saying this is the first death in the slum. And what stories like this worry me about is, again, that Event 201 coronavirus outbreak simulation of October 18th, 2019. Remember, they said patient 0 for Wuhan coronavirus. The initial date of patient 0 was December 12th, 56 days later. Event 201 equals 56. If you missed the Event 201 coronavirus simulation, you got to go back and look that up. October 18th, 2019. That was the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan. But anyway, that Event 201 simulation says that after 6 months, people in poor communities around the world begin to die rapidly. Places like India, that's likely what they're talking about. So this is a slum in India. And again, they're saying a 56-year-old. Now, we had a great caller last night who pointed this out from Switzerland. Again, this whole outbreak has a lot to do with Switzerland. Event 201 was hosted by the World Economic Forum out of Switzerland. The World Health Organization out of Switzerland was there. The banks from Switzerland was there. And realize who's making big money off all this? The banks. All that lending is profit in their accounting books. But she pointed out that Elvis Presley was vaccinated on live TV for polio October 28th, 1956. In the year 56, right? And that was on Bill Gates' birthday. And remember, Bill Gates co-hosted Event 201. And the simulation at Event 201 said 65 million people die over the course of 18 months. It was done on Melinda Gates' 65th day of her age. Bill and Melinda were married 65 days after Bill Gates' birthday. 65 is the number of the Knights Templar in Switzerland and the banks over there. 3 years to the day of the first patient being found in the U.S. in Seattle in Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's backyard. Bill Gates was in Switzerland saying that in the near future there could be an intentional pandemic, a major outbreak, major viral outbreak in the world. He used the word intentional. And considering Seattle, Washington, where he is, that's where they're doing the vaccine testing, where they had the record 65-day trial vaccine ready. But they're doing it in Seattle in his backyard. But going back to this Elvis Presley thing, which happened on Bill Gates' first birthday. And you know what? Before I go a step further, let's not forget that this movie with Tom Hanks, who tweeted about losing to his wife in gin rummy by 201 points. Let's not forget this movie, which Tom Hanks stars in. Inferno came out on Bill Gates' 61st birthday, October 28th, 2016, and it's about a billionaire who wants to depopulate the world with the virus, whereas Bill Gates is a billionaire who says he wants to depopulate the world with vaccines. But anyhow, Elvis Presley, back on Bill Gates' first birthday, gets this polio vaccine. And again, the polio vaccine was announced March 26, 1953, 26/3 like 263, the 56th prime. And again, everything that happens in modern times, when you know this knowledge, you see how it pays tribute to history. It's an ongoing script. It's an ongoing novel. It's the novel coronavirus. It was a celebrity then. It's celebrities now. And look at Elvis in Wuhan, the exact same in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers in Gematria. Elvis Presley's also 67, so is Rita Wilson, that's Tom Hanks' wife. We talked a lot about that number with them. But the polio vaccine was in 53. That was 67 years before 2020. So you just have to say, what are the odds of these things 67 years later? Again, the vaccine came out in 53. Elvis got it in 56 on Bill Gates' first birthday. What are the odds? And speaking of Elvis and Tom Hanks and predictive programming and history tied together, when Tom Hanks contracted coronavirus, he was supposedly down in Australia filming an Elvis movie. See how they emphasized Elvis? Him and his wife caught it. His wife's name, Rita Wilson, 67. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are both born in 1956, the same year Elvis got the vaccine. By the way, Inferno, the movie is 2 hours and 1 minute long. So if you load it in the Blu-ray player, it comes up as 201. That's also 121 minutes. And remember, the first case in the U.S. was January 21st. Like 121, like how SiriusXM made channel 121 the coronavirus channel. And that was after we'd been talking about this. On January 21st, you had the coronavirus outbreak headline, 121. The first case was found in Seattle, January 21st, where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is, 121. Event 201 was co-hosted by Johns Hopkins University, 121, the same institution now putting out all the supposed stats for worldwide cases and deaths. The same institution that ran the stats for the simulation. World Health Organization, 121. Remember, Revelation equals 121. Revelation's about accepting the mark so that you can participate in the world market. Bill Gates' former company, Microsoft, and the Rockefeller Foundation. By the way, Rockefeller's 56. They are developing ID 2020, a biometric scan that reveals all of your medical records. And just imagine going through the airport a few years from now. They'll probably have that ID 2020, and you better have your coronavirus vaccine or you're not getting on the airplane. And then you got to think about Bill Gates saying how with vaccines we can reduce the world's population. Got to think about Bill Gates on March 26th on CNN, 26/3 like 263, the 56 prime, laughing his ass off about, people dying from the pandemic. Watch it, it's sick. What a twisted man to be laughing about the things they were talking about. Joking about his documentary, The Next Pandemic, from November, where he predicted all of this would happen, right after Event 201, which he co-hosted. The Next Pandemic came out November 7th, 2019. Sanjay Gupta and him joked about it on CNN with the outbreak. Bill Gates had a good laugh. So anyway, when Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson just returned from Australia where they were filming the Elvis Presley movie, as they mentioned right here, the couple tested positive for the novel coronavirus earlier this month while in Australia, where Hanks had been doing pre-production work on a film about singer Elvis Presley. Again, both of them are born in 56. Tom Hanks' birthday is July 9th, 56. July 9th is also Dean Koontz's birthday, who predicted all of this in 1981. And then Rita Wilson, born in 56. But look at this. When Tom Hanks returned on March 28th, it was 263 days after his birthday, the 56th prime. And from his wife's birthday to their return was her 155th day of her age. Coronavirus is 155 with the alphabetic order. Also, from the first case in the U.S. to March 28th, that was 67 days later. Rita Wilson, 67. Wuhan, 67. And what I missed in that decode was how they even mentioned Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, 67. And remember, when Tom Hanks was diagnosed with coronavirus on March 11th, the same day the World Health Organization declared it a global pandemic, coronavirus pandemic 113, from that same day to his upcoming birthday was a span of 121 days. Everything perfect ritual, you know. And don't forget Bill Gates' full name is 201, just like the Spanish astronomer who coined the term corona, his full name equals 201. He coined that, chasing eclipses in New York, and Event 201 was in New York, again simulating a coronavirus pandemic that takes down the world economy, that kills millions. And again, the initial date of patient 0 was December 12th, 2019. Again, they've changed it several times since then. Then they moved it back to December 8th, then December 1st, 121, and now it's November 17th. But from Event 201 to the first reported date of patient 0, it was 56 days later. Coronavirus 56, Event 201 56. Remember just the other week, Gavin Newsom came out and said that he projects in 8 weeks, 56% of Californians will have coronavirus. 8 weeks is 56 days. So essentially what he said is in 56 days, 56% of people will have coronavirus. They're putting this number everywhere, expecting us not to see it, to not understand it. And again, here was Tom Hanks's Instagram post with the Corona typewriter. Tom Hanks, Corona typewriter. And he mentioned he was losing to his wife in gin rummy by 201 points. Coded message. Corona's 96, gin rummy's 96, knowledge is 96, Freemason's 96. Again, this code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah, which states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah. Freemasonry, very influential in entertainment, media, politics, major corporations. It's the society for the who's who's of the world. And for one more death, this one actually doesn't relate to 56, but it was New Orleans related, which is said to be a hot spot right now for the coronavirus. One of their great jazz musicians died, Elvis Marsalis, dead at 85 on April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day had that 45 date numerology like New Orleans is 45. Again, a New Orleans musician dead supposedly on this date from coronavirus. And his full name equals 82 like COVID-19. Like how earlier we talked about the man who died on March 22nd, the 82nd day of the year. Date that I told people to watch out for in advance. I said watch, a lot of cities go into lockdown that day. New York and a number of other states went into lockdown. Again, this stuff is predictable. His name, Elvis Marsalis, is also 94 like coronavirus pandemic. And again, we're seeing a lot of celebrities die by the numbers as they always have. Again, it's that song, Murder by Numbers. Killing's the sport of the elite. It's as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. But what we normally call murder by numbers, now it's become murder by numbers blamed on the coronavirus or COVID-19. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. I'll be back with the information on the DNC being moved. There's something crucial about that. Till next time.